Hey everybody, I'm sorry I deleted a video from earlier, but I wanted to revise it because my birds were chirping and I felt it was very distracting. So anyways, I want to talk about shitty parents and why it's baffling how some individuals have relationships with their children and then other parents are estranged. And I thought I'd give a couple of examples of individuals I'm aware of and how this might make some sense. So this is what I wrote down. The shitty parents are the parents that withhold their love or abuse their children. The children are consistently doing whatever it takes to finally get their mom or dad to love them unconditionally. And I'll be the first to admit, my mom was pretty disconnected. And I went to a therapist and I said, "Why doesn't my mom love me?" And he said, "Well, um, your mom is unable to love you because she doesn't love herself." And so I said, "Okay, that does make sense." And I said, "Okay, I get it." And so I realized I was able to receive love from other women in a healthy manner, neighbors and teachers and my grandparents, etc. And so I want to talk about a couple of other situations in which you'd think the adult sons and daughters would disconnect, but they just simply didn't. So my mom's youngest brother, and my mom was the oldest of eight, so I was born in 1970, and my uncle, my mom's youngest brother, is only 6 years older than myself. And he was just kind of mean growing up. He was spoiled and cruel, to be honest. And so growing up, he was a tormentor. I don't know if you've ever seen Harry Potter, but that's kind of what it was like. And so he went on eventually to get married and had 4 children, and he was an abusive parent. He was also an alcoholic, and a couple of memories come to mind when his wife was in the hospital giving birth to their fourth child. My sisters and I would go and babysit for the other three, and I remember his oldest son, who is autistic and has had certain struggles. He was laying on my uncle's couch, along the top of the couch. My uncle grabbed him by the back of the hair, dragged him through the house, and I don't know what he did when he took him in the other room. And then the youngest girl she interrupted the conversation I was having with my uncle, and he shook her like a rag doll. And I went home and I called him and I said, "You know that what you're doing is abusive?" He goes, "That's the way my dad raised me. That's how your grandpa was, and that's what I do with my children." And I said, "It doesn't make it right." And today, his 4 children not only have relationships with him, but he's allowed around his grandchildren too. So that's one situation. And my dad was an alcoholic. He was disconnected from us kids, especially after my parents got divorced, but I was consistently wondering, how can I get my dad to love me? When is he going to realize my value in this world? Another situation that happened, I met someone a few years ago, and he disclosed that he had been primarily raised by his dad because his mom was a drug addict. She fed his younger brother drugs, eventually in resulting in his brother's overdose. And his brother's life was done as of that point. He had trouble with his mom from very young on, where his mom would threaten to take her life consistently, and he never knew when he was going to get a call. But when you have situations where parents have obviously been abusive or neglectful or withheld their love, those type of children are always looking for the silver lining, thinking someday my mom or dad is going to love me and value me and understand my worth as a human being, and normally does not happen. And so when it comes to the rest of us who have loved our children, sacrificed, and have done our best, but told their children every day, "I love you, you're valuable, I wanted you, you mean the world to me, I'm so glad you're in my life." When we exhibit those types of parental attributes, a lot of times we're just walked past It's taken for granted. Our children think, oh, it's just normal. And they don't have to ever wonder if they were loved or not because we've told them. And so I'm just trying to put it into perspective. I'm just trying to help parents understand why certain children stay connected to their parents and others walk away. I think the ones who walk away realize mom's always going to be there. Dad is always going to be there. They would never not allow me in their lives. I'm I'm just thinking. So anyways, I hope this helps. I know it's hard to understand and I know it's heartbreaking when you've been through it, but know that you are not alone. You are loved and you do have value in this world outside of just being a parent. So anyways, that's all I've got and I will be back.